I am Akil, the real deal with zeal and mass appeal, and it's my honor to be kicking with you all this Sunday morning to be asked to share a message, and I'll let you know before I even get into it. Uh, this is something that I think the timing is perfect, something that I've been dealing with in my own personal life that's really personal to me, and I appreciate you all being here for me to share this with you. And, to, and you know, you should know, I joined Downtown Faith because I was raised to go to church. I was raised to believe in God, but I was also raised to be open-minded, that you could learn from everybody. My mom said, and she still says, that you can learn something from everybody. From watching people, you could learn either what to do or what not to do, all right? And I believe that's true. You know, I had a lot of conflict because I grew up in church, going to college, and hearing all these different cultures and this wisdom. That's why I like here at Downtown Faith, because we each have our own experience, our own relationship with God or the unknown, that we have time after I share the idea or whatever the idea is, we have time to discuss amongst ourselves. And thank you all again for being here today. We're going to continue the Essential James series, and as we continue talking about James, we've been talking about faith, and really, it seems like faith is almost synonymous with action. And we have this theme for the whole series that our faith becomes fully alive when our beliefs and actions are fully aligned. The Bible was never meant to be learned, it was meant to be lived. Is it enough just to know the Proverbs, the parables of Jesus, or the commandments if we're not applying them to our lives? And we came up even with this formula for life change, that it's the information that we discuss in our groups that we get from the Bible, we have to activate it in our lives. And this is a simple formula that information plus activation equals transformation. And even more so, we discussed that when you look at the Bible, you look at the Word, it's almost like looking at a mirror. That's why we have this mirror up here. It says truth needs action. Because when you look at a mirror, it can reflect needs. For example, if I look in the mirror and my teeth have plaque on them, I need to brush my teeth. It reflects what's reality. If you know, in my hip-hop career, I love dragons, and I like to call myself a dragon, but when I look in the mirror, I see Akil, the real deal. I don't see a dragon. So mirror reflects the truth, reflects needs, and activation. And examining the Word inspires us to look within ourselves and evaluate our behavior, whether or not it's in concert, what we believe and how we act. So in James chapter 1, we decided that how we react is an act of faith. How we respond to what happens to us is an act of faith. And I tried to come up with a funny, engaging example for each one of these chapters. So for example, let's say you are convicted of a crime that you didn't commit, but you believe in the justice system. You have faith that justice will be served. So what do? How do you react? You go to court with your lawyer and you plead innocent, believing that justice will be served. Now, on the other hand, let's say you're convicted of a crime you didn't commit, but you do not believe justice will be served. You probably will not go to court. You might change your name, might leave the country, or try to settle outside of court. In chapter 2, we talked about how faith works best when shown, not all alone. That faith without work is dead. Let's say you have faith, that you believe that you were placed here on this earth to become a model. But all you do with your time is sit around. You believe that you're going to be a model, but when you get off work, let's say you're working a regular 9 to 5 to make ends meet, when you get off work, you just sit at home and maybe watch YouTube like I like to do. Relax. You think to yourself, oh, I'm destined to be a model, but you're not putting any work. You're not looking to do any photo shoots, not even practicing poses in the mirror. That faith is dead. Faith alone is not going to make it happen. And in chapter 3, moreover, in chapter 3, we talked about the difference between worldly wisdom and earthly wisdom. And this is really getting into what I've been struggling with beyond what our friends might say, what we see people successful on TV, what they might be saying is how they got to their success or what's really important in life compared to what God is showing us. And we learn that faith speaks louder than words, and faith is the only way we can gain God's wisdom. Now, for chapter 4, I'm going to be talking about faith and humility. Once again, faith alone is not enough. We need humility. And In my opinion, humility is recognizing our humanity, that we have flaws, and submitting to divinity, or God's will. So, what is humility? Is it restraining from bragging, believing that you're the best at what you do? I think a humble person will stay open-minded to criticism and believe that he or she can learn something from anybody. But someone with excessive pride that is not humble might become a famous rapper like Kanye West and make a song that says, "You can't tell me nothing," right? And when discussing religion, being humble can also mean recognizing your stature compared to deity, or your, your position in comparison to God. And faith alone is not enough. We need humility. We- I believe we need to believe that God's way is better than what we believe we're doing to make it happen for us. And once again, I'll tell you, I'm about to get into it. This is something I've been struggling with a lot in my life. Personally, I believe, I know the only reason I'm here in front of you today, that I have this freedom of time, health, and money to invest in downtown faith, to be here, is because of God, because of God's grace, you know. Uh, God has been so good to me. I thank God that I'm here, that I'm doing what I love here in Vegas, that my profession, I remember my dream before I moved here, I said I'm going to be a public speaker. People were like, "What are you going to do? How are you going to get paid for that?" And this may surprise you all, that I'm a sinner. And I'm not saying that to sound cool, be funny, or sound badass, but I'm saying this to let you know that I'm struggling with this stuff right now. Before, like 2 years ago, when I first moved to Vegas, even before I moved to Vegas, I was working diligently. My relationship with God was so strong. I knew what I needed to do to become, I feel like He put me here to be a motivational speaker, a public speaker. Every day, I was meditating, I was practicing, writing new speeches, working out my mind, body, and soul, until about half a year ago, I had this loss in my life. I lost somebody, and there was so much chaos in my life. And it was such chaos because during that same time in my life, I started experiencing success. Finally, I believe you reap what you sow. All those seeds I've been planting, living diligently, being humble to what God wanted me to do, His will, it finally started paying off. I'm telling you, I was working for a year without getting paid speaking gigs, and I finally started getting paid and making money. You know, making money where I could live, I could, buy some new shoes. I could really live, And because I was dealing with all this pain at the same time, I started becoming successful, having more popularity, being on TV in my realm of entertainment. I was going through so much pain that I hid everything in my success, that I stopped. You probably don't know, maybe some of you noticed, I stopped being obedient to what I know are the laws of success because I was in so much pain, and I saw these things I could do with money, with kicking it with my friends, procrastinating, that could fill me up temporarily. Yeah, I started to believe I was the man. I started to believe that, and because I was the man, I couldn't show any of the pain that I was going through. Like I said, I started making money, right? But I wasn't humble about it. I wasn't giving 10% here. I was giving way less than 10% because I wanted more money to spend on things that I wanted to do to make me feel good. I started showing up. Even today, I tried to show up on time to help set up. I still showed up late, And these are things I'm in conflict because I know that I'm living how I think I should be, or I'm just doing this for myself. I'm not submitting to what God is calling me, the harder choice than what God is calling me to do. I stopped staying in touch with loved ones, started working on new material. I've been trying to hide it from everyone here in Downtown Faith, that I've been struggling and hoping that nobody notices that I'm coming up late or feel like I'm doing less than what I can do, because honestly, I feel like I'm giving y'all less of me, and it's it's been tough. And I want to bring up this scripture that's really been calling me, or this proverb that I'll talk about later, is that God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. And once again, I got to say, it's the only reason I'm here. I know I don't feel like I deserve a lot of the success I'm experiencing right now. It's only because of God. And I think I came up with an example that we can all relate to, or most of us can. Has anybody ever studied English in high school or college? Okay, word. So, when it comes to book assignments or a book presentation, you got two choices. You could read the book Or you could read Cliff Notes and Spark Notes, right? That's kind of feel like what I've been doing and not being humble and doing my own way. I've been doing the Cliff Notes or Spark Notes. Actually, if the book is like To Kill a Mockingbird, Fahrenheit 451, you could watch the movie. That's a whole nother choice. The Color Purple, you could watch the movie. And you know, while you're reading the Spark Notes and Cliff Notes, you might be able to get along. You might be able to show up to class and participate and get those points. You might be able to pass the quizzes. But when it comes to the test, perhaps there's something that wasn't in the Cliff Notes that your teacher thought was very important that you miss out on. Or maybe in your presentation during the Q&A, you get asked some questions that weren't covered in the Cliff Notes. And ever since I've been living this way, reading the Cliff Notes in my life, not listening to God, not being humble enough to say, your way is right, and doing what I want to do, I've been feeling this impending doom. Like I said before, God opposes the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. I've been feeling this impending doom because I know how selfishly I'm living, how proudly I'm living, that God is going to humble me. I feel it coming. I've been scared. I've been terrified, and I'm still living this way. I'm still living this way selfishly, not being humble to God. Even though I'm telling you, I'm terrified. I have this fear that God is going to send, while I'm on stage doing something, God is going to send Kendrick Lamar to tell me to sit down, to be humble while I'm on stage, because the way that it's getting to this point, like I'm telling you, I know that all the success that I've gotten is from me being humble, of me staying in track with what God has called me, with me putting my faith into action. And lately it's been, I can't get out of this, of me living for myself, because it's still working out, because I haven't been humbled yet. I've been living like this for a while now, like I said, like maybe 6 months. And I don't need this Bible verse. We're going to talk about it anyway, but I don't need this Bible verse to know that it's not sustainable. Like I said, I'm afraid that any day God is going to let loose of the wrath. Let's check out this Bible verse. What is causing the quarrels and fights among you? Don't they come from the evil desires at war within you? You want what you don't have, so you scheme and kill to get it. Can you relate to this scenario? Maybe you worked in a group, and you're working in a group towards a common goal, right? I think for myself, like a group in college, we're giving a presentation. We're working together to get a good grade together, but there's conflict because, I want my name to come up first on the slide out of my own pride, or I want to speak first, or I want to have this speaking part because I'm the one that knows about this. Moving on. You are jealous of what others have, but you can't get it. So you fight and wage war to take it away from them. Yet you don't have what you want because you don't ask God for it. And even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You want only what will give you pleasure. Oh, I'm telling you, I've been living that pleasure lifestyle, y'all. This is an even more example of how our pride can move us away from God's will. Maybe you see somebody, this happened to me. You see somebody, a couple, you see a couple, and maybe it's a beautiful woman in my case, and I'm seeing with this guy, and I'm thinking to myself, how is he with her? I'm jealous. I'm like, what's going on here? How's he with her? And I'm throwing shade. He's got money. That's why she's with him. Whatever it is, that's why she's with him. And I don't even ask God to send someone in my life to love. I just think to myself, I gotta find myself something like that. And me looking for something like that is out of envy or me, an ego thing of me wanting to be with someone else. And even if I ask God, hey God, please send me a hottie with a body to be next to me, I'm probably not gonna get it because I'm not asking for the right reason. I'm not asking for somebody to love and to share God's love with. I'm asking this for my own ego or lust. You adulterers. James is calling the people he's writing to adulterers. This could also mean two-timers or cheaters, just like you might call someone a cheater that's reading the Cliff Notes or Spark Notes for that book. Don't you realize that friendship with the world makes you an enemy of God? I say it again. If you want to be a friend of the world, you make yourself an enemy of God. Do you think the scriptures have no meaning? They say that God is passionate, that the Spirit He has placed within us should be faithful to Him. I see this as another warning against excessive pride. That James is pointing out the consequence of prioritizing our earthly desires over the will of God, that God is within us. Some people call it the conscience, that voice telling you to make the harder choice, to take heed. But like I'm telling you, I've been falling short to it. I know that I haven't been practicing like I should, like I used to. And I hear that voice when I get home from work and I decide to chill, to sit down because I'm tired from work, when in reality I feel like I should be practicing for downtown faith, practicing what I'm going to say for downtown faith. And he gives generously. As the scriptures say, and I brought this up before, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So humble yourselves before God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to God, and God will come close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, purify your hearts, for your loyalty is divided between God and the world. And that's where I've been. I've been divided between God and the world. This inner turmoil I've been feeling between what I feel like I should be doing and what I want to do, which is so much easier than what I should be doing. These things of the world, whether it be women, partying, marijuana just became recreational legal yesterday, July 1st. You can go to dispensary, whatever it may be. I've been trying to distract myself from this pain. Let there be tears for what you have done. Let there be sorrow and deep grief. Let there be sadness instead of laughter and gloom instead of joy. As I mentioned before, I'm doing all these things away from God, not being humble, following my own way, and it's bringing me some type of temporary satisfaction. But honestly, I'm in pain. I'm sad. This grief that I'm feeling is it's not going away. There's a God-sized void that is not being filled by all these things I'm doing, by not living humble, by being selfish and prideful, and thinking that I'm the man, that I could do this. I'm still making money, even though I'm not living this way. I'm still making money. I'm still popular. People still say I do a great job, even though I stopped doing those things that I know I should be doing. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up in honor. I got to reiterate this again. I know that all the success that I'm experiencing is fruit from the labor of me being humble, all that time I've put in, and I've been scared because I'm not living that way anymore. I'm ashamed. I would like to go into detail, but I'm ashamed that you might think of me less if I told you how much I was not living in accordance to what I may appear, and how I'm living. And I'm telling you, the grace of God is the only reason I'm still kicking it, looking good, still making money like this. And I'm so afraid that God is going to humble me soon because I'm so stuck in this way right now. I'm so stuck in this way. I'm telling you, I'm still getting money living this way. Everything is still good. Even if I show up late, the people still love me. And at this point, I'm just praying that I can pull myself out of this, of living so prideful, and humble myself before God does, because I feel it on the way. Okay? And now that I'm living so, like I said, I'm trying to motivate myself. I'm not looking to be swallowed by a fish or embarrassed by Kendrick Lamar, but I'm fearful that it may be what it's going to take. And could I have the worship team come up? In order for our beliefs and actions to be fully alive, in order for our faith to be fully alive, our beliefs and actions have to be fully aligned. In order for us to do the works, to make our faith become alive, to get that wisdom, it's about the action. The truth needs action. This verse, like I'm telling you, when I got asked to do this, faith and humility, and I talked with Jeremy, I was like, man, you have no idea how much I've been conflicted, how much this is speaking to me. It's telling me to open up my heart, and it's hard because I'm in so much pain. I'm afraid to talk with God. I'm afraid of the wrath. I'm afraid to reveal all the pain that I'm in. But I know faith, I believe in God. I know faith alone, me just believing that God's going to help me, is not enough. Like we've been talking, faith requires action and humility. Humility is recognizing that I'm a human, I have flaws, my humanity, and submitting to divinity. And I'll leave you with this. I only learned all this until I caged myself in the mirrors. and forced to look into my eyes, I realized I had the supplies to win. But I had to unleash the dragon within. And now I'm conflicted because this power of restriction was self-inflicted, the most common sin. Thank you all for your time. You don't understand how healing this has been for me, and I'm going to give it up for the band to worship.